Episode 6, The Truth, begins with Joe jogging in the square while Chadwick Boseman watches from his bedroom window. Moira comes in, and they chat about how Joe's been acting suspicious. Meanwhile, Jermaine gets a call from an Irish guy who tells him that he's dragged Kat into danger. He rushes to her place, finds her tied up, and as they're about to escape, two goons in blue jumpsuits show up. Since no one in this show is afraid of people with a gun, Kat takes them out and they run downstairs. Shockingly, Edict shows up to save the day, telling them they need to leave town fast, and they drive off with him. Kat demands to be let out, but Edict knocks her out with one knock on the head and tells Jermaine they need to get to Rome. Take a drink. It's time for another scrumptious buffet at the Shanghai Palace. Bill wonders what they should do about Erica. Moira says to give her time, but Bill isn't sold. Erica waltzes out of the kitchen with a plate of bacon and eggs and tells them they can order whatever they want, which is a surprise because they've been eating Chinese food for weeks now. When Janet shows up, Erica and Janet hit it off, and when Bill reaches for Erica's bacon, she stabs him with a fork. Bill stomps off while Erica and Janet have a laugh. Why he didn't just go into the kitchen and get his own food is the real mystery of this episode. Tom, back at his creepy surveillance setup, tells Joe he's noticed Erica might be interested in Janet. Joe asks for any updates from their bosses, but Tom brushes him off, enjoying being a jerk. He sends Joe back out to continue his undercover act. Later, Erica gets suspicious of Joe when she catches him acting weird in the elevator. Janet defends Joe, but Erica says she'll keep an eye on Janet's boy. Over in Italy, Jermaine and Kat have apparently followed Franklin's advice and are attending Shannon's funeral. Some guy, Stefano, accuses Franklin of making his daughter's life miserable and pulls a gun. They reservoir dog each other, but things eventually settle down. Stefano storms out, and Jermaine follows, with Kat helping him talk their way out of a scuffle with Stefano's thugs. Kat, annoyed, wants to go home and reassess her life, but Jermaine says they're in danger, and Stefano is the only lead they have. Guess he's not including Edict. Back in town, Bill loses it and smashes furniture in a fit of rebellion, declaring he's not going to let their captors win. He tells everyone they need to take control of what they can. Joe and Erica share a tense elevator ride where she demands to know who he really is. Joe plays innocent, but Erica doesn't buy it and warns him to stay away from Janet because she's claimed dibs. Tom watches this whole drama unfold from his control room. Back in Italy, Kat and Jermaine try to track down Stefano, but they get captured by his thugs, which I suppose is convenient for them. Janet, meanwhile, starts doubting Joe after he gets sick from what he claims was bad pork. He agrees to tell her everything, but before he can say much, he collapses, vomiting and probably blowing up his pants, after what was likely a double-ender. The others drag him back to the hotel where Moira suspects he's been poisoned. Joe, however, sneaks off to try to access the command center using the elevator, but everyone is watching the floor indicator and getting super suspicious. In Rome, Stefano ties up Jermaine and Kat and interrogates them. Jermaine spills about his ex-wife's disappearance and tries to connect it to Shannon's death. Stefano finally agrees to listen when Kat shows him some evidence. Back in his room, Joe is struggling when Tom sneaks in through a secret passage, giving him water and warning him that they're both in too deep now. Tom admits he's not sure if Joe's illness is punishment from their superiors. They talk about how they have to let the experiment play out for the greater good. Stefano, after watching Jermaine's videos, reveals that he and Shannon were planning to elope before she disappeared. He suspects Franklin is behind everything and might be connected to the mysterious jumpsuit squad. Kat, apparently no longer interested in going home, suggests they go fishing for answers at the embassy. Back in town, the group scrambles to figure out what poisoned Joe. Moira says they need tests to figure it out, but Bill volunteers to go search the restaurant for any clues. Janet wants to stay by Joe's side, but eventually leaves to help with the search. Later, Janet returns to check on Joe, but his condition has worsened. He's sweating, barely conscious, and looks like someone who ate one too many chimichangas. Erica, still suspicious, wonders out loud if Joe's illness is just another trick, but Janet shuts her down, insisting that he needs help. Now at the embassy, Renby and Kat have disguised themselves as a priest and a nun, and it is at this point where I officially was on board with how bonkers the show's B storyline truly is. They notice the security guard going through a door with a key card, and Kat tells Jermaine to relax. She then goes to the buffet and starts a distraction, faking a collapse. She manages to steal a key card from Franklin when he comes to help, and then slips it to Jermaine. He gets through the secure door into Franklin's office and uses the key card to open a secret panel. Inside are photos of Joe, Janet, and Tori outside the Shanghai Palace. Jermaine takes photos of them and puts them back, and then hides under the desk as the security comes in. Jermaine slips out a few minutes later. Back in the room, and Moira announces they've found some possible antidotes. The group has no choice but to take a gamble on which one might save Joe, but Moira warns that if they choose wrong, it could kill him. Erica suggests that they use vodka, based on symptoms she saw of people who used antifreeze to poison themselves back in the clink. However, first Erica tells Joe that he has to tell them the truth. When Cameron objects, Erica kicks him right in his Ferris bueller's and returns to demanding answers. He finally admits that he's one of them. She gives him the vodka, and he starts to recover. Bill starts to strangle him, and Chadwick Boseman pulls him off. Chadwick Boseman and Moira figure they can use Joe for information or as a bargaining tool. As they take a cab to the airport, Jermaine shows Kat the photo and says all they have to do is search every Chinese restaurant from Rome to San Francisco. Once again, we go into the will they, won't they be story loop, and she says that she isn't going to help him search for his ex-wife. He responds by kissing her. The driver locks the cab doors and gets out while they hear a bomb beeping. Jermaine manages to kick the door open, and they get away just as their cab explodes. Joe wakes up and finds Janet at his bedside. He apologizes and insists that he kept his secrets to protect her. She doesn't believe him and demands the truth. Joe affirms that he is, and she slaps him and storms away. Below, Tom watches on the screen and wonders what they're going to do with Joe. He then spots Erica in her room, pouring antifreeze down the drain, and that brings us to the conclusion of episode 6, The Truth. And the truth about this episode is that it's a little Jermaine and Kat heavy for my taste, but it featured some delightful religious disguises. What will happen now that Joe's cover is blown? Whose side is Edic on? Who tried to blow up Jermaine and Kat? Who knows? All I know is that we've hit the halfway point in this crazy series, so there's no stopping now.